Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'm going to be testing Kentucky Bluegrass Glaze from KyMudworks. I'll be testing this glaze on 7 different clay body test tiles as well as on a textured white stoneware mug. My mischief munchkin, Miss Mittens, is helping me out today while I record, and honestly, she is just the cutest. This is a Cone 6 glaze that's listed as lead-free, non-toxic, and dinnerware safe by the manufacturer. Before I open this glaze, I want to make sure it's mixed extremely well. My favorite way to mix up my glazes is with a drill and an egg beater attachment. After mixing the glaze with an egg beater attachment, it's still a good idea to poke around at the bottom of the jar with a stir stick or something to make sure there isn't any mineral material clumped up down there. Sometimes I forget this step, but it's honestly better if I don't. I'm going to be brushing my glaze onto test tiles. I brush my test tiles in 1, 2, and 3 coats with the thickest coat at the top of the tile. I fire my tiles hanging on a high alumina rod to see how the glaze is going to perform on a vertical surface. In this way, I'm also testing for running. With the thickest coat of glaze at the top of the tile, if a glaze is going to run, at least it's got somewhere to go. I like to test glazes on lots of different clay bodies to get a general idea of how a glaze is going to behave on different colors and surfaces. Everybody out there is working with different kinds of clays, and maybe one of these tiles can help you guess at what might happen for you. As always, I strongly recommend that you make your own test tiles and fire them in your own kiln. Just fire your tiles exactly how you would fire your normal work. There are lots of different factors that go into how a glaze is going to turn out. The best way to see how a glaze is going to work for you, in your kiln, on your clay, with your application process, is to do your own testing. Looking at this textured white stoneware mug, this glaze at 2 coats is a combination of grassy green and bright blue with light blue flecks. In areas where this glaze pooled or laid flat, there's this really lovely blue that's both light and dark kind of mixed up at the same time. In the areas where this glaze broke over textures or wasn't as thickly applied, there is a nice soft, natural grassy green. On my white stoneware test tile, I'm seeing a lot more of that light blue crystalline effect on the less textured surface. At 1 coat and on the edges of some of the textures, we can see that transparent green on the tile as well. On this Laguna B-Mix tile, this glaze is much more of a grassy green. I'm not seeing near as much of the blue tones on this tile as I did on my other white stoneware. The Laguna Frost porcelain tile is also nice and green. The texture on this tile came out somewhat eggshell matte. It would be worth testing this fired a slight bit hotter to see how it turns out, but I'm thinking that this is from a crystallizing property. On my speckled stoneware, this glaze is also a nice eggshell textured green. The speckles are muted fairly well by this glaze. This glaze looks wonderful on Laguna Speckled Buff. The blue and green are both shining through well and in a good mixture. The glaze looks great breaking over the textured part of the tile. The surface is also a bit glossier on this tile than we were seeing on some of the others. The red stoneware tile turned out a bit of a darker green than it had on the lighter bodies, but this is still a really nice green, and I think with more texture, the breaking would look really great on this red stoneware. The finish is a bit of that glossy, leaning eggshell. This glaze looks stunning on Laguna B3 Black. This clay can be challenging to find a good glaze for, but we certainly seem to have one here. This blue looks the best I have seen it on this tile, and the finish is very glossy. It seems worth experimenting with on a larger piece of work made from this clay. All around, this glaze fired to an eggshell semi-matte green on most of these tiles I tested here today. In some clay bodies, this glaze also gives lovely blue. This glaze has a lot of interest and movement on textures. I suspect there's a crystal forming agent that causes this glaze to become semi-matte eggshelly on certain clay bodies. It would be worth testing it fired hotter to double check that theory. All around, this glaze has a lot of potential and is exciting with variant colors across different clay bodies and textures. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed learning more about this glaze and can make use of this information in your own studio. If you'd like to help support my channel so that I can get more glazes to test for you, consider becoming a member of my channel right here on YouTube. If you'd like to see all the ceramics I currently have available for sale, visit my website, bluenosetrading.com. If you want to stick around for more art videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, Blue Nose Trading. Thank you so much for being here until the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring, drink enough water, and I will see y'all in the next video.